Hey YouTube, welcome back to the Pacific Enterprise Network Industrial Spur. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. I know I typically don't do how-tos or anything of that sort, but I wanted to show everyone how to use JMRI on a small or maybe even a medium layout in a very simplified manner. This way you can do like I do with setting up trains, setting up routes, how to put in your roster, all of this sort of stuff, but very simplified. Um, JMRI has a tendency to be a bit overwhelming, but really this is a very simple way to do it. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is open up Preferences, and you're going to name your railroad. Go here to Railroad Name. Obviously mine is Pacific Enterprise Network Industrial Spur. There we go. That's all you need to do there. We can go ahead and close that. It'll ask if you want to save your changes. I'm not going to save anything because I didn't change anything. So there we go. From there, we're going to go to Tools, Operations Pro, Settings. So here again, your railroad name. We're going to set our scale, and you'll see why that's important later on. And you can leave all of the rest of this alone. None of the rest of this really matters. If you want to set your maximum train length, typically you do that for about the length of your longest runaround track, if you have a runaround track. Locomotives doesn't matter. Horsepower per ton doesn't matter. We're not going to mess with the locomotives at all. You can use feet or meters if you want. You can enter the year if you want. None of that actually matters at all. I model N scale. I'm going to select N. Again, like I said, I'll show you why that's sort of important later on. Makes things a little bit easier. And we'll just save it. There we go. Done. I'll leave this window open though. Okay, so then we'll go back to Tools, Operations Pro. And we're going to start with locations. We're going to work our way down this list here. So we'll go to Locations, and we're going to add a location. So I'm going to pretend we're building a new layout here. It's going to have a yard or off-layout staging. It's going to have a oil industry and a team track. So the first thing we're going to do is create our yard. So I typed in yard. We're going to go down here, add location. And the yard is going to handle all the different types of cars. It's going to handle everything. Don't even look at this up here, trains traveling which location. I'm assuming you either have some sort of a loop or you have a shelf layout. Really, this doesn't matter up here. So you can leave this all alone. Like I said, this is going to be super simplified. And we're not going to select yards. We're going to treat everything as a spur. Because when you start messing with the yards or interchange tracks or staging tracks, it complicates things. And this is all about keeping it simple. So we're going to say this yard has 3 spur tracks. So we're going to add track A, which is going to have a length of, and this is why selecting your scale is sort of important, is so here, now we can put our length in inches for the track. So say you have a 3 foot, just a nice 3 foot spur track, we'll do 36 inches. Add spur track. And see now over here, it says it's 480 feet, because in N scale, 36 real life inches is 480 feet of N scale N, or length. Okay, so then we're going to add track B. We're going to say track B is 30 inches. That one's a little bit shorter. And track C, that one is going to be 24 inches. We're saying we're losing, say we're losing a couple inches on each one just because of the, the turnouts and whatnot. So add spur. And we can close that. And there we go. Now we've got our 3 spur tracks, our 3 tracks in the yard. And these 3 tracks will handle whatever. Now my yard, personally, is actually off layout staging. It's not actually a yard. So that's why you'll see on my manifest, you'll see it says like bin 1, bin 2. That's because I actually put them in a physical bin. So, but maybe you have tracks, maybe you have bins, whatever. You can call them whatever you want. Now we're going to save this location, and we can close that window. So now here, see locations, yard. Next up, we're going to add our oil refinery. So we'll type in oil refinery, add location. Now this oil refinery, it's only going to take tank cars. It's only going to take tank oil. So close this. So we selected tank oil, and then we're going to add our spur tracks for this. So that we're going to say this oil refinery has 2 tracks. Track 1, oops, got to put that R in there. Track 1, and it is 200 feet long in end scale. And we'll do track 2, which is, we'll do 150 feet. 150. Add spur track. There we go. We've got our 2 tracks set up at the oil refinery. Going to click Save Location, and it's done. And then we're going to add our team track. Team track. Add location. Here we're going to clear all this, and that's going to take box cars. It's going to take reefers. It's going to take flat cars. There we go. And that's it. And we'll add the spur track, and we'll say it is a team track 250 feet. Add spur track. There we go. Now say if you wanted to split this up, say if you wanted to have say you have 250 feet, but you want to split it up so you have one area for box cars and reefers, like a dock, and one area for flat cars, it's like a big flat area, then you just edit this out. You say, all right, how long is the docks? So say we'll go here, we'll go dock, and we'll say that dock is 150 feet long. We'll save it, and then we'll do unloading for flat cars, and we'll say that's 100 feet. That's the other 100 feet of the 250 feet. Add spur track. And actually we have to, so here, so the unloading area is only taking flat cars. Save it, and we'll edit this one so it only takes, or so it doesn't take the flat cars. Save. There we go. Save location. There we go, that's done. So now we have our yard, we have our team track and our oil refinery. That's our locations. Next we're going to go to cars, and we're going to add some cars. So we're going to say we have 3 box cars, 3 reefers. We'll do 3 box cars, 3 flat cars, and 3 tank cars. Just a nice little 9-car roster. So our first car is going to be B&O number 1111. Just enter whatever your car road name is and whatever the road number is. And that is going to be a box car. And it's going to be a 50-foot box car. And here you put the location where it is currently. So we're going to say it's at the team track on the dock. And see, this calculates out what the car should weigh. You don't even have to do anything here. Car color, it's blue, it's B&O. And then you have this here, load. This does not matter. This can be empty, it can be loaded. It really doesn't matter because we're not going to use that to send our cars anywhere. And you can put in who owns it or whatever if you want. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is the road name, road number, type of car, and where it is, and the color. That's it. Add car. Now say if I tried to add the same car again, car with this road name and number already exists. Okay, can't do it. But we're going to add 1112, add car, and then we're going to say our third box car is ATSF 2221. Actually 3, there we go. And that one is going to be a brown box car. And that one is going to be at the yard on track A. Add car. Save it. And then we'll just close here so you can see. So here's our 3 cars. It shows us what type of car it is, the length, the load, the location. Now say if you manually move something around, let's say we move this car over to the yard by hand, we can put it in the yard. There we go. Save it. And now it's at the yard. Say you broke it, you click that out of service, and it will ignore this car when building trains. Okay, so let's keep adding. So let's add our tank cars and our box cars, or and our flat cars. So our tank cars are going to be GATX, typical. And they're going to be 4321. That's going to be a tank oil. And if you want to, you can click this hazardous. It'll just add a hazardous warning. We'll do that, just so you can see what it does. And these are going to be 60-foot tank cars. And they're black because they're GATX cars. Add car. 4322. Add car. Oh, we didn't put in a location. See? So this one's going to be at the oil refinery on track 1. Save it. 4323. Oil refinery, track 1. Add car. Save. Close. Now see this one here. This is the one we forgot to. So we'll set it. This one's going to be in the yard. Yard. Track A. Save. None of the rest of the stuff matters. Just leave it alone. We're keeping it simple. So we got our cars. Let's go ahead and add our flat cars. So say you come up here and, man, your railroad is not listed in here. Then we will edit. Click edit. We're going to add the Pacific Enterprise Network. So PENX is my calling card, whatever you want to call it. Add. There we go. Now we can add our PENX flat cars. So we're going to add flat car, 50-foot flat cars, location, yard, track C, and they're going to be red. Add car. So we have that one added. Let's go ahead and add a Burlington Northern flat car. That one is going to be green. Add car. And we'll add a TTX. Why not? Oh, see, TTX is not in here. So we're going to add it. Edit. TTX, add. TTX, and that one is going to be yellow, as they are. And that will also be a yard track C, add car, save. Now say we try to add too much to a track. So let's say we're going to add another one, another flat car to this track. Add car. Well, that's not long enough yet. We're getting there. Add car. Well, how long is this track? There we go. See, it's too long. Available track space is 50 feet. And you see here it's saying the rolling stock is 54 feet, but here it's 50 feet. It's because it takes into account for couplers and, you know, the little bit of gap there between the cars. So we can't put that car there because there's not enough room, but we can hit OK, and we can force it there if we want to. So we're going to hit yes, we're going to force it there. So now it's going to be overhanging a little bit, but it's there. We're going to save. And the same thing, like say we wanted to try to put a car, say this flat car at the oil refinery. It's going to say you can't put it there due to type flat car. Are we going to force it there? No. We'll go and we'll change it. And we'll put this at the team track unloading area. Oh. See, and it also won't let you add the same car again. So we'll save, and you'll see that this 346355 is going to be at the team track unloading. There it is. So we got 13 cars here. That's a little more than I wanted to add initially, but demonstrating. So here we go. We got our cars, our locations, and our settings. We're going to skip locomotives. You don't have to do anything with locomotives unless you want the program to tell you what locomotives to take out. I personally don't. I don't have a lot of locomotives to choose from to begin with. But I also, it'll try to use less fuel, quote unquote, for your operations. And I don't know about you, but I'm not running an actual railroad with a budget, so I'm not concerned with fuel usage. So we're going to skip over locomotives. We're going to go to routes. So here, we're going to add a route. Click add route, route name, local. And it's going to be our local. So now that we've entered that, we're going to add route. Now here is where you add your location. So every train on my railroad starts at the yard and ends at the yard. But we're going to hit the oil refinery, the team track, add location, and then back to the yard, add location. So here, this will determine how many moves you can have at each. This, for your pickups, unless you want to have really short trains, so this would only give you a 5-car train. So we'll bump that up to 10. And I'll bump this up to 10. And then you're not going to be setting anything out right out of the gate, so no. And you're not going to be picking anything up at the end, so no. Save route. So when you look at this, you can see, like, all right, you can move things around. You could add a comment if you want. Say you want to hit the team track before the oil refinery, just move that up. Or we're going to move back down because we're going to hit the oil refinery first. So start out at the yard, end at the yard, and hit everything in between. That's your local. Save route, close it. There you go, you've got your local. Now let's say we want to add just a oil refinery train. So oil refinery, oil refinery only. Click add route, and then it'll allow you to add the locations. So it starts at the yard, add location, hits the oil refinery, add location, goes back to the yard, add location. There we go. Simple. And remember to change that. There we go. And I'm assuming we're not going to do more than 5. We can change that if we want to. You don't have to. But this will essentially limit how many cars your train is going to be. Is like, so you pick up 5 here. You're gonna, maximum of 5. This will be, however many in or out, whatever. So actually we'd want to change that to 10, because that would be 5 in, 5 out, and then back to the yard. Save route. And you don't really even have to change that. If you're okay with your trains being 5 cars long, then just leave that alone. Or if you, only want to have a couple of moves, there you go, leave it alone. I've never had it ask me to move something from the yard, and then take it out and then bring it back to the yard. It's not going to ask you to do that. Train direction doesn't matter. Leave that alone. Random. So this you can set to what percentage of the time it's going to visit this location. Leave that alone. Leave it alone. We're keeping it real simple. Save route. Done. So now we've got 2 routes built. I'll move this over here. We've got 2 routes, 13 cars, 3 locations. We've got our settings set up. Now we're going to go to trains. So I'm going to move this over here. First thing we're going to do, add a train. And that's going to be our local. And you can call it whatever you want. Again, here, I'm just putting it in as local. This departure time doesn't matter. None of this really matters. Add train. And you can leave all this alone, because it's only going to select cars that you have, and only going to select cars that are used at the locations in that route. So we're going to select our route, local. And there we go. You see it hits the yard, oil refinery, team track, and yard. All you got to do here is save it. Boom. And this is why we don't mess around with the locomotives, because it even says here optional. So leave it alone. Leave it alone. Keeping it real simple. So there we go. We've got our 1 train. We'll add the oil refinery train. Refinery. Add train. Route, oil refinery. There we go. Save train. That's it. That's it. And now we're ready to run trains. First thing I'm going to do, just because this is totally optional, I am going to set up the... Oh, you want to click this preview button. Where is it here? The manifest print options. Right here. So go to your tools, manifest print options. This is completely optional, but I recommend doing it. Pick up text color. I always go with, I don't remember if I go with blue for pickups or red. I know I go blue and red. Local move doesn't matter because it's not going to do local moves. Pick up this, so we're going to remove where it says load. Oh, so click it, scroll up to the blank. Scroll up to the blank, and then come over here and hit minus, minus, minus. And so so when you print your manifest, it won't give you it won't tell you if it's loaded or not loaded. Because really it doesn't matter. You just want You want tank cars to go to the oil refinery. It doesn't matter in the real world if it's loaded or unloaded. Also, I'm going to change my font size to 12, makes it a little easier to read. And there we go, save. And missing cars, it'll actually say you have cars that are missing, which I don't know how that would happen, but it'll give you a message here saying if they're missing to put it, contact the dispatcher if you find it. You're the dispatcher, I'm assuming. It's your railroad. So here we go. Save that, close it. Now it's time to build some trains. Let's build and run some trains. So here we got our local. Let's go ahead and build it. And we're going to click preview. And here you go. And now if you want to, you can print it. I don't print it, I just do the preview and work off of my screen. So here at the yard, you're picking up your 2 cars. You're going to the oil refinery, picking up these 2 tank cars and setting out the tank car from the yard. Going to the team track, picking up these 2 cars and setting out this box car from the yard. Coming back to the yard and putting all these cars on the tracks where they go. Simple, really simple. It tells you where to put them, tells you where everything goes, and it makes the decisions for you. You don't have to roll dice or try playing with car cards or any of that. This right here is everything you need for operations. And so then you'll go over here. So say you're physically run this train. You'll go over here to action, move, 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 terminate. And then once it's done, it'll give you an error if you have to build it again. So once you're done running it, just keep clicking move until it's done. Now you can close this. And we'll pretend to run the oil refinery train. Preview it. So we're picking up these 2 cars from the yard, going to the refinery, picking this one up from the refinery, dropping these 2 off, and then coming back to the yard and dropping that 1 car off. Now if you watch over here when I click move, over up here in the cars section, you'll actually see these cars moving and being, where they're going. And right here it tells you like this car is going to the oil refinery because it's on the oil refinery train. So you'll move it and see, now that changed. Move it, and now it changed again. And terminate, because you're back at the yard. So that's it. That is how I set up, oversimplified, basically, super simple operations for my railroad. And you could do this on really any size railroad. I mean, I've got, 10 or 11 locations. I've got 30-something cars, I believe now, and they're all in here on my profile. And yeah, it's super simple. You just take the cars where it tells you to take them, and it does all the work for you. And see here, it tells you how many times that car has been moved. So this car has been moved, these 2 cars have been moved twice. These have all been moved once. These haven't moved at all yet. So there you go. Super simple and effective and fun. So I hope you guys have fun with this. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw them down in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I'll be happy to help you get started setting your railroad up with JMRI Operations Pro. I'll put a link down in the description on where to get JMRI from. And this doesn't have to be linked at all to your layout in a physical way. This is, in fact, my layout. I run it with DCC++ on a whole separate computer. It's not linked to this computer at all. And yeah, that's it. So you guys have a great week, and hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.